Back with more of Todd Wilson's Georgia Journal, and our visit to the Air Museum continues. Now, here in our closing minutes, we're going to visit more with Director Ken Emery. As we said earlier, a visit here is both entertaining and educational. The museum takes every opportunity to be a showcase for learning. They host robotics tournaments and young astronauts for elementary, middle, and high school students, and even offer a partnership with Middle Georgia Technical College.
Is a lot of our taking that effort to educate our kids about science, technology, engineering, and math, and bring them in and have a venue around airplanes and aerospace, and how a lot of those skills are applied to today's aviation industry. So it makes a great venue for us to talk to kids and put them into classes and talk about science and math and give them real live connections to those kinds of skills that they need to learn today to do the things they want to in the future. Almost from day one, almost 25 years ago, Middle Georgia Technical College has had their sheet metal classes here at the Museum of Aviation in our restoration building, and actually uses our sheet metal shops and other industrial shops to conduct their classes. They have their own little classroom down there, but all the hands-on work is actually done in our shop, or sometimes on some of the aircraft that need to be repaired or restored. So it gives them some of that real live using that skill on an airplane to fix something and restore corrosion and make it right again for the museum.
It's through this partnership with Middle Georgia Technical College the museum continues to play a role in training the future workforce by pairing up retired aircraft that need a refit and students who receive valuable hands-on lessons. The Air Museum is a place to honor those past aviators and heroes. Inside the Century of Flight hangar, you can get a glance at the famed U-2 and SR-71 Blackbird, two reconnaissance aircraft that made high-altitude surveys along the Cold War era and played a huge role during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Hangar 1 building houses Vietnam-era exhibits and even the very plane that retired General Rick Goddard flew over Southeast Asia.
That was a great find for us. The F-100D, that 995, which is General Goddard's airplane, we found it at Otis Air National Guard Base in Massachusetts last summer. We worked an exchange where we took our old F-100 that we had on display and gave him our airplane and brought his down here. So it's getting ready to get into an extensive restoration. He was down here to see it when it arrived. He was very excited to be here. It brought back a lot of great memories for him, good and bad. But we intend to restore it as closely back to his airplane that he flew in Southeast Asia for over 150 combat missions in that particular airplane.
You know, we've only scratched the surface of what all is available to see at the Museum of Aviation. In the future, they plan more additions and, of course, more aircraft. Coming soon, you'll have a chance to see in detail the recovery efforts in Greenland of the Lost Squadron. The complete story of the retrieval of the P-38 Lightning, now known as Glacier Girl, from over 250 feet of ice, is told by one of the leaders of the quest.
We've set up a program for Mr. Pat Epps from Atlanta to come down and talk about that Lost Squadron and recovery of the P-38 under the Arctic in Greenland a number of years ago. He was very much involved with that and actually on site for the recovery. So we thought it would be pretty interesting to have him come down and talk about that and how the airplanes were lost, how they found them and recovered them, and where the airplane is now. And they recovered only one of the P-38s, but that was pretty significant and really an historic airplane that has been brought back to life, if you will.
You'll find the Warner Robins Museum of Aviation just south of Robins Air Force Base in Warner Robins off Highway 247. They're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 361 days a year. Best of all, admission is free. You can always find out more by going online to museumofaviation.org. Next time on the Georgia Journal, I hope you'll join us when we'll be checking out another mid-state museum, the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame. And we'll be visiting with all of the members of the class of 2011.
I remember my senior year, I said that Tech wasn't our biggest rivalry. Coach Dooley had me in his office, and we almost lost to him every year. So Tech's always Georgia's biggest rivalry. Anytime you think differently, you just need to lose to them a year or two, and you'll find out real quick.
That's all coming up next time on Todd Wilson's Georgia Journal. As always, if you know of a hidden Georgia gem you think might be worth sharing, or would just like to leave a comment about today's show, drop me a line at todd@warnerrobbinspatriot.com. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Todd Wilson's Georgia Journal.